West Tigers have been left embarrassed after their number one target, Ciraldo, turned down an offer to join the club. It's just the latest chapter in their NRL coaching circus that now sees 3 clubs stuck at the bottom of the ladder without a head coach. Kenty, what is going on with the coaching circus at the moment?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? The way I'm looking at it, I've written something tomorrow about it actually. Coaches are getting smarter and clubs seem to be getting dumber. We've got clubs who are looking for jobs, and you're now getting to the stage where rookie coaches are knocking them back because the clubs are so unattractive. But then beyond that, you've also got coaches out there like Shane Flanagan, Paul Green, proven premiership winners, who the clubs on the bottom of the ladder have shown minimal interest in. I'm just wondering, and yet we have this fascination to continue going after these cookie-cutter coaches, as blokes who really have only ever served as assistants at other clubs, who've got no proven record as head coaches, even at state league level. And yet that seems to be the flavour of the month. It's a fascinating landscape at the moment that you've got these clubs who are offering head coaching roles in the NRL. 3 of them, and they're struggling to find them. Mark Robinson from the Warriors flew to England to sign Christian WOOLF. He knocked him back. Christian WOOLF's now talking about taking an assistant's job at the Dolphins to sit there and just basically wait out Wayne Bennett's tenure there because he doesn't see the Warriors as an attractive enough proposition. You've got the Tigers who... Everybody last week at the Tigers was telling everybody who would care to listen that Ciraldo was done and dusted. There's just a couple of little things to fix up, and then they'd be announcing him. And then they felt they were so far down the track, they felt compelled to put a statement out saying they'd missed him, which is the first time I think that's ever happened in rugby league history. Honestly, they don't know what they don't know sometimes, Braith. And I think that's starting to bite a few clubs. Now, Canterbury have definitely tried to address that by bringing in Phil Gould. Phil Gould at least knows where the square pegs go. At other clubs, I'm not sure they do. And it's going to be fascinating to see how this coaching situation all pans out now.
Well, the coaches are the quality coaches, or guys like Ciraldo, are they a little bit gun-shy because they've seen what's happened to the coaches over the last few years, come and go?
We've been over this ad nauseum, Braith. The Tigers have been through 4 coaches the past 10 years and haven't really improved. They've got worse. There's not a lot... I know there's talk about these good young kids coming through, but the old line, Jack Gibson, success starts in the front office. I don't think they know what success looks like. So if you don't know what success looks like, you don't know what... A lot of these people don't know what footy clubs look like. How do you have faith in them as a young coach? Well done to Cameron Ciraldo and Christian WOOLF for having... the nous and the courage to actually say, you know what, not the right situation for me, because as we've seen with recent times, Garth Brennan, Trent Barrett, Seabold, make the wrong choice, suddenly your future that you see as yourself as a 10, 15-year NRL coach gets reduced to 2 or 3 years.
Now, Paul, Dave, you guys got it right with Ciraldo. You were pretty adamant throughout this process that he was going to stay at Penrith. Not that that's official yet, but there's a big chance that he will. Why did Ciraldo knock back the West Tigers?
Timing. Kenty hit the nail on the head. When to jump in. We need to remind ourselves Ciraldo's only 37 years of age. I understand he was absolutely impressed with what the Tigers were offering. Not only the 5-year deal, obviously, that's hugely lucrative. But certainly what we've been talking about here on the program about the development pathways and this rich nursery of juniors coming through. It was interesting, I understand, some feedback given from either Cameron or his management back to the Tigers was that having had a look under the hood, and while the Tigers have been focused on a development style coach, there was feedback given back to the Tigers that an experienced coach to guide the club over the next 2 to 3 years, because there's still some heavy lifting to be done as far as the roster is concerned. It was the advice that they look towards an experienced coach who's been there, done that before.
But see,
Kenty, that leans me towards a Flanagan or a Green.
They've shown, to my point, shown minimal interest in. And it's like Shane Flanagan took over Cronulla at the end of, I think he had last 8 games back in... was it 06 or something like that? Anyway, but then he took them over. They were 14th position when he took them over. Yeah, he won in the premiership in his tenure there. I think 2010 actually it was. he won them a premiership. He's taken them from 4. Not many coaches anywhere can take a team from the bottom 3-4 clubs to a premiership.
Why is it? Why won't they employ Shane? But we all know the capabilities.
With
you just spoke about it. But there's got to be reasons why he's not getting employed as a head coach.
Because
the success is there. The writing's on the wall.
Exactly. But I think part of it is they all want to go and
find the new toy.
Find the new toy. Exactly. Find the guy that there's a feeling that if once you've had your stint, you've basically you've given all you can give. Flanagan's adamant he hasn't.
Yeah. Crawls, is this embarrassing though for the West Tigers? I mean, they threw everything, the kitchen sink at Ciraldo. 5-year deal. They would have gave him control, gave him the reins.
Oh, I don't think it's embarrassing for the Tigers because just looking at the situation, for Cameron Ciraldo to walk in as a first-time head coach and take on that job, it would have ended in a disaster. And so the Tigers have to back themselves. And you say they walk in and look under the bonnet and they go back with feedback that to give a more experienced coach. Well, I wouldn't personally be taking the advice of a player manager or anyone like that. I'd be making my own decision. They've got Tim Sheens in charge at that club. He's been around the block. He's been around long enough to know what success looks like. I think the problem goes above him at this club to the board level and the administration. They have to charge Tim Sheens with what he wants to do, with what he wants to see.
Well, I think
you can't have other factions within.
I think Sheens did that as part of the process of offering Ciraldo a 5-year deal. That's a huge offer for a rookie.
But they overruled Sheens when it came to sacking Maguire.
If you speak with anyone that has worked with Ciraldo, and you've heard this before too, Paul, he's a quality coach. Like, they look at him and they see success. So in that situation, I probably, you can understand why the Tigers would want to do that, even though there's a risk. There's a risk involved, but not all of them have come with such strong raps.
That's true. Trent Barrett did that.
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, Trent Barrett had a previous stint at Manly that didn't go, according to plan.
Christian WOOLF is another name, guys, that will be brought into the mix now for the Tigers. My understanding is that the Tigers are going to let this breathe, right? They missed their man. They know that, right? He was their number one target. You don't offer 5-year deals for a rookie coach. That was all in their eggs in the one basket. They are now going to sit and watch the KIMMORLEY situation unfold. But in the background, they'll look at a number of candidates, and I understand Christian WOOLF will emerge as one of them because WOOLF wants to move back to Australia, hence the knockback of the word.
Sheens has already said he wanted to coach by September so they could begin recruitment for next year.
Yeah, and
he said that on this show. Is KIMMORLEY a chance? What's the latest?
I'm not ruling him out.
You're not ruling him out, Crawls?
Again, go to what you know about rugby league. And this is nothing personal against Brett KIMMORLEY, but he has not got the experience to take charge of that club. A club that has gone through 4 coaches in a decade, you can't put a guy that has got, a couple of pinch hits as an assistant coach and not for several years. You just can't put him in that position.
I'll put it down to one difference why I think KIMMORLEY may be a chance. And it is if Tim Sheens takes on a more of a hands-on role. He wasn't able to do that with Michael Maguire. He wasn't going to do that with Michael Maguire because why? Because he's an experienced coach. I disagree, Kenny. I think there'd be an element of an appetite to work with someone like a Noddy to have a more of a hands-on role than what he did with Maguire.
With due respect to Brett KIMMORLEY, who I quite like, I agree with you. I don't believe he's done the work yet to take over such a big job as resurrecting the Tigers. And if he's appointed, members should go down there with their pitchforks and walk out with the board stuck to the end of them.
It's also about coaching too, like years in coaching. Like the real good guys that take over have got a long apprenticeship. His apprenticeship just doesn't, it's not up to what it needs to be to take charge of that club.
Sheensy has stated he's not here to coach at the Tigers.
And he's got a 2-year contract.
He did not come back to coach. If KIMMORLEY or another rookie with similar experience is appointed, Sheens will be asked to be doing. He will be being asked to do far too much, far more than he signed on for. He's already far more accountable. I love the way they pitched Sheens into the job, and the board and everyone just sat back and said, "Not on us now. Nothing to do with us." They've just created themselves an
I
excuse.
just think the goalposts have moved for the Tigers.
Of course it has.
Because of the Ciraldo situation, which makes this KIMMORLEY. I'm not.
But what's it say about your club when rookie coaches are knocking you back?
Dave, if it goes forward, you mark my words, it won't be a success. And it's unfair on Brett KIMMORLEY to throw him in charge of that job.
It is unfair.
They've got to do the right
With
thing by
Sheens'
him.
help?
Tim Sheens is a great coach, but again, Dave, he's got a 2-year contract and he wasn't employed to be the coach. He wasn't employed to be the coach. He's the football general manager.
Not with Michael Maguire at the helm. He wasn't employed.
I think you're asking too much of Sheensy to come in and help a rookie coach. Because
he can help and guide, but Noddy hasn't got the
difference between
coaching
Sheens and Bennett?
experience.
What's the difference between Sheens and Bennett? The 6 months age difference? Experience on the board? We were asking Wayne Bennett to do a similar thing with Christian Wolf.
Well, yeah, but Wayne does it differently. Wayne hasn't had a year off either. And Sheens has made clear he didn't come back to coach. He's made that numerous times. He said he didn't come back to coach. When he's got a rookie like KIMMORLEY or any other rookie there, depending on...
I don't believe him.
You don't?
I think there's an itch to be scratched there still.
Well, that might be... I'll tell you what, Sheens is head coach, if he's up for it, if he's got the energy for it.
He said he didn't want to coach.
But look, I'm just saying, I'm just going down your line. If you think he really wants to do it...
I'm not saying head coach, I'm saying working with another coach.
Morris?
Well, of course, if he gets a young coach, he's going to work with him, but he can't be...
In a more hands-on role
Dave,
than what he wasn't able to do with Maguire.
I'll tell you one thing that I've learned over the years. Players need to know who's the boss of the football club.
No, I agree with you.
And as soon as you start undermining a coach's authority and he's not the main man, good luck with that. And that's what will happen with Sheensy if Sheensy's undermining, or not even undermining, but the players know who the boss is.